Hello and welcome everyone to our webinar dedicated to accommodation providers who want to maximise the opportunities coming from the Fleadh this summer to Belfast. Not to worry if you're not an accommodation provider, because you're in for a treat. You're going to hear a lot about the Fleadh and all around it, so not to worry, but it's mainly for opportunities for businesses to get involved. So we would like to talk today, how it's going to run is we're going to talk to Tourism NI's own accommodation certification manager, Susie McElhatton, who will shortly deliver a session specifically on getting your accommodation Fleadh ready. But first I'd like to introduce you to Lesley-Ann O'Donnell, who's Senior Manager, Culture, Tourism and Events at Belfast City Council. Lesley-Ann holds a leadership role there in shaping the city's cultural landscape and managing flagship events, including the winning bid to host the Fleadh Cheoil this year. So there's been a lot of work done already, and Lesley-Ann is no stranger to major events, having held the post of project manager for the 148th Open. She and her team from Belfast City Council are currently leading the charge on a host of business and community engagements. So they're doing a lot as well. So we would encourage you to attend these also. And Lesley-Ann is going to give you a great overview of the event, what it's all about, and how you can make sure you're up to speed with all things Fleadh this year. So over to you, Lesley-Ann.
Thank you everyone for attending the session today. I'm Lesley-Ann O'Donnell, Senior Manager of Culture, Tourism and Events at Belfast City Council, and I'm here today to give you a bit of an overview as to the opportunity presented by the hosting of the Fleadh Cheoil na hÉireann in August 2026. Before we get into the overview or an update on the operational planning, I just want to share a short video that gives a sense to the ambition and the feel that we want to create with the Fleadh in Belfast.
Celebrate Belfast. Celebrate together. Feel that beat, that pull, that call. To Belfast, a city where music flows naturally through the streets and history dances to the rhythm in the air. 2026, we invite you to be part of something extraordinary. The 75th Fleadh Cheoil na hÉireann, right here in Belfast Fair City, for the very first time. Join us as we celebrate the rich tapestry of our culture. A celebration that transcends all borders and brings together local, national and international communities.
It'd be great for the Fleadh to come to Belfast, all the streets to be buzzing.
I think Belfast will host one of the best Fleadhs ever seen.
Fleadh Cheoil.
Experience the vibrancy and joy of music and culture. Whether you're a seasoned musician or taking your first steps into the world of song and dance. From the heartwarming melodies of the piper to the lively rhythms of our drums, every note tells a story. Every step forges a connection. This is more than a festival. It's a gathering of hearts. A place where new friendships are forged, cultures are celebrated, and everyone is welcome. Together we celebrate the Belfast Fleadh, creating memories that will last a lifetime. We long awaited this. We're thrilled to open our arms and welcome everyone to our city. The 75th Fleadh Cheoil na hÉireann, Belfast 2026. Join us in celebrating the spirit of Belfast and the magic of community. Together, let's make history. Celebrate Belfast. Celebrate together.
So hopefully that gives you a bit of a sense as to the type of welcome that we want to create for our visitors whenever they come to Belfast in August this year. The Fleadh Cheoil na hÉireann is the largest global celebration of traditional Irish music, dance and culture. And this 2026 will be the second time that it has ever been hosted in Northern Ireland, with the previous year being 2013 in Derry, Londonderry, as part of the UK City of Culture celebrations. At its heart and at its core, it is a series of concerts, sessions, awards, competitions in a school. But the beauty of the Fleadh is that over the number of years that it has been running, it has grown organically and spills out into communities, spills out into neighbouring streets and places, and becomes a real vibrant celebration of all traditional cultures right across the makeup. And there's space and place for everybody to be involved and participate. The event runs from the 2nd to the 9th of August in 2026, and 2026 is a real true year celebration. Not only is it Belfast's first year of hosting the Fleadh, but it is the 75th anniversary of the Fleadh itself and the 50th anniversary of our CCE, our bidding partner. Pre-COVID, the Fleadh would have averaged around 450,000 attendees across the week, but it was one of the first events to come back and one of the first events to come back post-COVID with an element of an outdoor footprint, and that saw the event grow and blossom exponentially year on year. When it came back post-COVID, it hit average numbers of around 600,000, and those have continued to grow, with Wexford reporting 750,000 attendees at their 2024 event, and we're awaiting final reports from their 2025. At its very heart, it is about celebrating talent, celebrating performance, and celebrating volunteering and community participation. Cultus are the core organisation that lead, own and celebrate the Fleadh. They're a volunteer-led non-profit organisation which was founded in 1951, and they have branches in over 22 countries. They play a vital role in preserving the traditions celebrated through the Fleadh and providing a network of membership and teaching and participation year-round that culminates in the All-Ireland Fleadh in August. We are working closely with CCE, who are our bidding partner for the Fleadh this year, and we're working closely with other organisations right across Belfast and beyond to celebrate what that means for people to get involved and be included in the Fleadh. In terms of Belfast hosting the Fleadh, major events present a huge economic impact to a destination. We know that previous host cities and towns of the Fleadh have reported in excess an economic return of between 60 and 70 million, and we anticipate that for Belfast that this could grow northwards. But beyond that, what it gives us in terms of social capital, social value, opportunity for placemaking and belonging is huge. It also allows us to lean into our role in Belfast as a gateway city to the rest of the region. We tie very closely to our status as UNESCO City of Music and very closely to the principles and core values of both our cultural and tourism strategies in terms of hosting the Fleadh. We're also currently live bidding for the second year of the Fleadh in 2027 and hope to have an announcement around who the host city will be in March this year. So we're looking forward to potentially 2 years of celebrating the Fleadh Cheoil. In terms of audience makeup, this is a picture from Wexford, from their gig rig, which happened down kind of on the quay site. But you can see from the crowd dynamic that it is the full mix of generations. So from kids entering the competitions, kids attending the schools, right up to grandparents attending. For the people that come to the Fleadh year on year, they make this their annual holiday. What we know from previous host cities and reports from Fleadh Ireland is that a Fleadh in ROI has presented a 20% out-of-state attendance from their visitors. But what that means in Northern Ireland and in Belfast is that those numbers could flip, because we will have a significant proportion of ROI visitors and a huge proportion of first-time ROI visitors, both to Belfast and to Northern Ireland. And that's a real opportunity for us to put our best foot forward, create a sense of welcome that we are so well known for, and encourage repeat visit time and time again. We also know that for the out-of-state visitors that come to a Fleadh, that they tend to come for an average of 8 days, where they have 5 days attending the Fleadh and 3 days where they bolt on additional sites, visits, tours and travelling around the local vicinity. So in terms of the core of the Fleadh itself, there are a number of, as it said, competitions, schools and events that happen around the Fleadh year on year. There's instrument making, there are ticketed and non-ticketed music performances. There is busking and pop-up activity that happens on the streets and in the venues. There are organic sessions. There is a gig rig which will be located at City Hall, which will have programming running from the morning right through to the evening. And there will be a series of fringe activity that will happen both in the city and in our neighbourhoods. In terms of operations, we have been working hard on the ground on this with our multi-agency partners, ensuring that everything aligns to the principles of not only celebrating the Fleadh, putting our best foot forward in the delivery of the event, but keeping the public safe, enabling emergency services, and trying to minimise disruption to business as usual within the city centre. So the core programme takes place from the 2nd to the 9th of August, and then we are looking at the makeup of additional events and open calls out to our creative and cultural sector to submit ideas of things that they would like to do to celebrate the Fleadh and make the most of that opportunity. The kind of core area is the gig rig at City Hall, the school at Ulster University, the ICC, Ulster Hall and Assembly buildings as core competitions, and looking at provisions for pop-up food markets, etc., to support that as well. We have a number of working groups that are stood up and a number of task and finish groups looking at very kind of specific elements around medical planning, traffic and transport, ticketing, etc. And we have engaged extensively with previous hosts of the Fleadh to take forward lessons and learnings that we can continue to build and grow on the event year on year. As I mentioned, the school runs from the first Sunday and then the competitions pick up later in the week. And those core venues that we're working with are the ICC Waterfront, the Ulster Hall, City Hall, Assembly buildings, 2 Royal Avenue, St Anne's Cathedral and the MAC as well. So the gig rig will run at City Hall. It will be able to be scaled up and down in terms of capacity, depending on when there are key moments happening, such as the opening ceremony and the closing ceremony on the first and final Sundays. The programme of events and performances will run from 11 to 11 each day, and the expression of interest is currently live for people who want to submit a proposal to perform on the gig rig. That can be accessed through the fleadhcheoil.ie website or through Belfast City Council channels as well. We are currently in the final stages of procuring a curator who will help us stage manage and facilitate the operations of the gig rig during the event week as well. So with the Fleadh and with any event of scale, there are a number of kind of pieces of operational planning and operational delivery that kind of go on beneath the surface. But just to kind of reiterate that those are happening and they are being planned and implemented. Things like event control, accessibility hubs, traffic information centres, logistics hubs for deliveries kind of coming into the city, language hubs, medical hubs, volunteer hubs, ticketing and information points, and working really closely with our partners in Visit Belfast to facilitate visitor servicing and pop-up information where we can help orientate people around the city and around the venues. In addition to that, Volunteer Now are a key and critical partner for us as well to not only support the safe and secure delivery of the event, but really to welcome our visitors, welcome people attending the event and help orientate them around the city and around the places that they want to get to. And again, encouraging that opportunity to go out and explore more and travel around into the regions and the gateways. So they will be briefed not only with the operational activity, but also with the visitor servicing piece as well. In terms of our fringe, we want to complement the Fleadh Cheoil's core activity. We want to showcase our diversity ethnically, culturally and artistically, and provide opportunities to engage wider for families, visitors and residents alike. We want to animate public spaces and venues right across the city and into our neighbourhoods, and we want to provide opportunities to support local artists and communities to feel part of and participate in the Fleadh, both in the run into and during the event week itself. Any activity that we're doing aligns really closely to our core strategic themes from our cultural and tourism strategies, which celebrate a city of stories, our heritage and our tradition, Made in Belfast, which celebrates our innovation, City Exploring, which links into our global connections and also how we work with our partners in Tourism Northern Ireland and Tourism Ireland to really celebrate and the international dynamic that a Fleadh can do in terms of placemaking for Belfast and Northern Ireland. And it's our city belonging, so how we engage with our communities and local neighbours to ensure that there's an opportunity for people to understand the awareness of what the Fleadh is, but also opportunities to be involved at different levels. We are looking at city centre activity and citywide activity in a mix of different artistic disciplines that can form that package of wraparound activity. Everything that we're doing is around kind of a value-based model as well. So while a lot of the activity will be free to attend, anything that is ticketing, where our hope and ambition is to try and make that as low cost and accessible as possible for the families and the audiences that are coming. And we're working closely with Cultus on all of this to ensure that we're staying true to the core values of a Fleadh, but creating a sense of opportunity for everybody to participate. We are currently live with Bank of Ideas, which is our participatory budgeting programme, which is small grants of up to 2,500 available for ideas for communities and neighbourhoods to come forward with events or pieces that they want to get involved around the themes of celebrating together. And then that culminates in a public voting day in City Hall in May. So if you're keen to get involved in this, please just follow our channels, the Fleadh Cheoil website and Belfast City Council channels, and reach out to us for any queries that you may have. In terms of volunteering, as I mentioned, we're working closely with Volunteer Now, but we can never have enough volunteers. We know that we need between 1,500 and 2,000 volunteers to kind of deliver the Fleadh, deliver the support for the core, the competitions, and also do that wraparound piece. We currently have about 800 people who are registered and have expressed interest in volunteering for the Fleadh, which is amazing to be at that point at this point in the year. And Volunteer Now are continuing to run a number of engagement events for people to find out more. You can follow the QR code, or again, look at Volunteer Now website as to how you can get involved and how you can sign up. But what this will mean as a legacy for events in general is that we will have a huge bank of volunteers who are keen to support events and support major events in general, that we can draw down from and tap into that relationship with Volunteer Now on an ongoing basis. So thank you for your time this morning. In terms of finding out more information or connecting with us at the council, everything is hosted on our fleadhcheoil.ie website, which we're working in partnership with Visit Belfast to deliver. And you can contact the team at fleadhcheoil26@belfastcity.gov.uk. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Leslie-Ann. Goodness, there was a lot going on there, and what a fantastic overview. Please note that all the dates of the Belfast City Council community engagements and all the volunteer opportunities that Leslie-Ann spoke about, and a host more information, can all be found on the Council's website. So next up, it's my pleasure to introduce you to Susie McElhatton. Susie is Tourism's Accommodation and Certification Manager. And Susie and her team will look after all the accommodation for the Fleadh and keep you right on everything you need to know. So over to you, Susie.
Thank you, Carolyn. So hello, everybody, and welcome to today's webinar about all things Fleadh. My name is Susie McElhatton, and I am the Accommodation Certification Manager at Tourism NI. And I am going to be talking you through today all of the legal requirements necessary to let out your home or your accommodation business to visitors during the Fleadh and potentially beyond. So we'll chat through all the legal side of things and a little bit about what other factors you might need to consider when you're letting out your property, the benefits of getting certified, and how to enhance your product and create a really memorable stay for your guests. The Fleadh is a really incredible opportunity to showcase Belfast as a destination, and obviously the accommodation sector is a really hugely important part of that. So let's kick off. Move on to the next slide there. So offering accommodation for the Fleadh. So the Fleadh is really presenting us with a major opportunity to attract new visitors, because for many it's going to be their first time visiting Belfast or the north. And our main ambition here is to ensure that they want to return and explore further all that the region has to offer. So it's not only an opportunity to deliver a really exceptional cultural event, but it's also just to showcase the outstanding tourism experience that we have available across the north. And we're building on a really strong track record here of delivering major events such as the Open last year. And a significant focus is going to be placed on encouraging visitors to extend their stay in Belfast and the wider region through targeted and enhanced marketing activity. And this is a really important element in supporting local businesses, shops, cafes, pubs, independent traders and accommodation businesses, as well as helping to spread positive economic and social impacts across communities. So if we move on to the next slide, we'll just delve a little bit into accommodation certification, which is a legal requirement to trade. So all accommodation businesses must have a valid Tourism NI certificate before trading. So if you're currently letting your property and you don't have it, please get it done now. This is, as I said, a legal requirement and it is enforceable with fines of up to £2,500 or 6 months imprisonment, not to scare anybody, but it is a legal thing that you must have. You can apply in one of 8 categories. And if you're not sure where your business might fall, please call us and chat through. We are more than happy to chat through the different categories and see where your business might fit. And there's loads of information on tourismni.com as well for you to get a bit of a sense of what category would be best to apply in. I know that there has been some chat around letting out gardens and things for tents, but just to note that that is not something that Tourism NI would certify. So it would be very much up to you to scope that out and determine whether you can or want to do that or not. The overall aim of certification is to improve standards and to protect the customer. So certification legislation ensures that a minimum standard is met across all accommodation offered within Northern Ireland. And a physical inspection is conducted once every 4 years. So if you get certified now for the Fleadh, that would actually be in place for 4 years. So whether you're looking to do this just for this event or whether you want to keep that on to offer stays on an ad hoc basis or a more long-term basis, then that would be available to you. And costs are as low as just £40 for a self-catering business, and that will do you for the 4 years. So just moving on to the next slide around the benefits of certification. So certification is mandatory, as I mentioned there, but it ultimately should be a really positive experience. And our team of advisors build and continue to build really close, good working relationships with industry partners to help them better their businesses. So it should really be a win-win situation. And really we are coming to make sure that your accommodation is safe, clean, legal, and fully equipped for guests. And the advisors will share really important advice and signposting, such as the need for fire risk assessments and public liability insurance. They will help talk you through how to promote your property and any free resources that you can avail of. New ventures are going to be prioritised, particularly for the Fleadh as well, to get them trading. And this really helps, certification really at its core helps to drive standards and help improve our reputation as a destination. You can also avail of a free listing on the Discover NI website, and these properties are going to be listed on the official Fleadh accommodation site through Visit Belfast. So I'll talk more on that later, but that is a really kind of key point to note today. And just generally, knowing total accommodation stock numbers helps us bid for major events in the future. So obviously we had the Open last year, we've got the Fleadh this year, and that helps drive revenues for accommodation businesses and providers of big events. So just touching on the next slide, which is some other factors to consider, we will have a little look at some of the other important legal considerations that you might need if you're operating a tourism business. It's really essential that you do your due diligence in this area and ensure that you're compliant with all statutory bodies before you begin to trade. So first and foremost, please contact your local council because planning permission and building regulations may apply if you are going to be offering tourism accommodation, particularly if you're planning to convert a house, or extend or make structural alterations to an existing property, or if you're changing the purpose of the use from a house into a short-term holiday let. please contact the planning department of your local council. And please do that now, because sometimes there can be a bit of a delay. So it's just really important that you get that application in. And if you're planning to sublet your property, the house or apartment that you are living in or you privately rent, you must get approval from the property owner, the landlord, or the management company. Many are going to have clauses in the tenancy agreements that prevent this, and some buildings, particularly some buildings that are operated by management companies, will have clauses against short-term letting. So this responsibility really lies with you in ensuring that you have the correct permissions to safeguard your relationships with your neighbours and with your landlord. If you operate tourist accommodation, you may need to pay business rates. So again, please make sure that you're contacting LPS on that one. Fire safety regulations apply to all business premises, including tourist accommodation. So it is the responsibility of the business owner to ensure fire prevention and risk reduction measures are in place. So you should absolutely, at minimum, conduct a fire risk assessment. And it doesn't have to be carried out by a consultant or a fire safety company. There are loads of resources on the Northern Ireland Fire and Rescue Service website, and you can, if you want, hire somebody in to do that for you. Tourist accommodation that provides cooked food, so a hotel, a guest house, a B&B, for example, you must apply to your local council to register as a food business, and then you'll need to undertake a basic food hygiene course, and you'll also get a visitor from an environmental health officer. And as a tourism provider, you have legal obligations under the Disability Discrimination Act 1985, so you need to consider guests with disabilities. Service providers who offer services to the public must make reasonable adjustments in this area. But adopting a more inclusive approach has really practical benefits for your business. And Tourism NI have a really great toolkit on the website that you can download that helps you review your business in this area and think about ways that you can really practically make adjustments. And there's also lots of information on that on the Equality Commission for Northern Ireland. And also you are responsible, lastly, just for health and safety of your guests and staff while they're on your premises. So just making sure that your premises are safe for purpose. This can have impacts on your insurance. So it's, again, a really essential area that you do your duty of care to visitors, and making sure that you're remaining vigilant of any potential risks and how you describe your premises in marketing and promotional material. So just moving on to the next slide, which is just around fair pricing. So this is really critical. Getting your price point right is a really, really important step in this process. So as a first point of call, I would have a look at what other similar products are selling for online, but also what experience you feel you offer, because ultimately we want to instill consumer confidence in Belfast and the surrounding areas, but it also improves your chances and our chances of people returning to Northern Ireland and seeing Northern Ireland as a value for money destination. There are a range of supports on pricing and fair pricing under the financial support section on tourismnorthernireland.com. And also just be mindful that the Fleadh is primarily a family oriented event. Many people are really looking for cost-effective options to stay in. And it's just something to note, but businesses that priced fairly for the Open last year in Portrush realised business, whereas many that didn't lost out. So, you know, you really need to consider if your average price is, let's say, like £100 or £200 per night, is putting that up for a big event like this to £1,500 per night. Is that perceived value for money? And is that going to cause, you know, have a detrimental effect on your business, but also the destination? So it's a really key thing to consider. So just moving on to the next slide about what to expect on a visit. So new applications can be made really easily online, and visits are scheduled in anything from 2 to 12 weeks from your application. So Fleadh visits are going to be prioritised, but please just apply as soon as you are ready. Presently, the average waiting time is around 4 weeks, but our advisors will work with you to find a suitable date and get that done as soon as possible. you're going to receive a really comprehensive checklist ahead of time, which is really helpful in helping you prepare for the visit. And it details all the areas that the certification advisor is going to inspect against the legislation, just to make sure that you can keep yourself right at your end. After the inspection is done, there is time to sit down with the advisor and basically do a bit of a debrief. So they'll talk through all the areas that you did really well and maybe some areas that might need some attention and what happens next. They'll also discuss other really important legal factors and signpost you to those areas. They'll also maybe touch on the quality grading scheme, which is the voluntary quality assurance scheme where you can get 2, 3, 4, 5 stars. Again, that's something else to really consider, whether you feel that that would be really helpful for your product, particularly if you plan to do this beyond the Fleadh. And we'll also give you best practice and operational standard guidance if needed. There may be some conditions with your certificate, depending on how the inspections has gone. That'll be discussed with you there and then. And a time frame will be given depending on how serious they are, but it's usually around 30 days. So it'll give you 30 days to rectify anything that may be needed to be done. And there's an opportunity post-visit for correspondence with the advisor. So they're going to follow up by email with the report and the certificate. You'll have their contact details. So if there's any questions post-visit that you want to touch base with the advisor on, please do that. That contact is there. If a follow-up visit is required, there isn't a charge for that. So that may be for a re-inspection just to check some of the conditions. Your certificate is going to be posted out to you and it must be displayed prominently in your business. So just getting a nice frame or something, and it's really nice just to maybe have that in your hallway or your entryway. So we'll move on to how to craft a memorable stay. So there's many ways that you can build a really good relationship with your guests and help create a memorable stay during the Fleadh and beyond. This is really important in terms of your success as a business, but also how the customer views us as a destination, the price that you can charge, and also just the feeling that people are left with whenever they go for home. What are they going to say about their accommodation? What are they going to say about that experience? And what memories are you helping them to create? So first and foremost, quality is really key. People expect a clean, well-maintained and well-equipped property. So if you are thinking about doing any paint touch-ups, check for wear and tear, making sure that you have enough furniture for the number of people that are staying, making sure that it's in good condition, really scour your home for cleanliness. So thinking about mold, is there mold around your bathtub that could be, could that be replaced or could that be treated? Dust, particularly high up, top of cupboards, that kind of thing. Now is a really good time to do that, to do a little audit of your property if you're already trading, but also just to think about that in general if you're a new business. You can send pre-arrival information to your guests via WhatsApp, email, text, voice note, or video, just to make sure that they are in the know, and you can build that good communication from the outset and find out who your guests are in advance. So particularly if you maybe find out, for example, that your guest is a family staying, could you organise some children's books, some toys, high chairs, whatever for the kids? That's those really nice added touches are what can really set your business apart. And just a reminder, I guess, at the Fleadh, there's a big emphasis on the language. So offering a welcome in Irish or a little personalised note to your guests, those little touches go a really long way. When your guests are due to arrive, ensure the key codes are activated and keys are easily retrievable for arrival. Prepare storage areas for equipment. A lot of people coming for the Fleadh may have large instruments and they may need storage areas. So if you have like an understairs cupboard and you just need to clear it out for that, that would be probably a really good idea, just to make sure that people have those storage spaces. Making sure that you've got adequate seating, crockery, towels and supplies and all those other little bits and pieces for the total number of guests staying. It's really frustrating when you maybe sit down to have a meal and there's too few forks or not enough cups. Providing a little food and drink or a local breakfast basket showcasing local or homemade items is a really lovely way to highlight local suppliers and also just to show all the brilliant food and drink offering that we have here. And finally, just providing a welcome pack with really helpful information, particularly information about the event. You can have that on hand and printed in a welcome pack, for example, or you can send a digital welcome pack. So things like local restaurants, and just noting that advanced booking is really essential, park and ride details, bus stop locations, taxi numbers, takeaway numbers, anything that might be relevant to them staying in your property. And just finally then, just to note a few additional resources that might be helpful. The Discover NI website, as I mentioned earlier, is whenever you get your property certified, you can avail of a free listing on Discover NI. Discover NI is the official tourism website for Northern Ireland, and it gets about 3 million visitors a year, but it's a really good marketing tool. Visit Belfast are looping in with all of the properties that are on Discover NI for those to be listed on the official Fleadh Accommodation website. So it would just give your business extra exposure. We can assist you whenever we're out for the visit in helping you set up your Discover NI listing as well. And it just means that you could be included in Tourism NI's marketing campaigns as well. So that's a really, really kind of key one, to just make sure that you register your business on Discover NI after your certificate is granted. And so lots of other resources on the Fleadh, on tourismni.com, on belfastcity.gov.uk, fleadhcheoil.ie, and visitbelfast.com. And there's just a little link there to apply for your certification. So it's just tourismni.com/forms, and that will take you immediately to the online application website. But as I mentioned earlier, please feel free to give us a ring, Quality and Standards in Tourism NI, and we are more than happy to talk you through anything at this stage. But that's all from me. And we look forward to welcoming lots of new businesses into the fold and coming out and certifying you guys, and getting to meet everybody over the coming weeks. So thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Susie. As Susie alluded to, all the accommodation listings available are on discovernorthernireland.com, and these have been shared with fleadhcheoil.ie to allow visitors to best plan their stay and have confidence during the event using the certification accommodation listings. These listings will remain under the control of discovernorthernireland.com and all of you, the individual product owners. And so to best maximise the opportunity to secure bookings for the weekend, the week of 2nd to the 9th of August, we'd recommend you update your listing on discovernorthernireland.com over this period, and also just revise all your rates, as Susie was saying. So this information will automatically feed through to the fleadhcheoil.ie as well. And if unsure how to create or update your listings, please visit tourismni.com for all the instructions. And furthermore, we'd recommend you to pass the availability and rate information to the dedicated Fleadh team at Visit Belfast. And their email is shown here. It's fleadh@visitbelfast.com, or there is a line there if you want to pick up the phone and call them. They will be managing all the visitor accommodation and group accommodation requirements for the Fleadh. So I hope we've covered much of what you need today, but also if you've got any questions, please, you can pop them on the webinar and we can get back to you as soon as possible. And I'll let Barry carry out a quick poll now, which is really important for us to get your feedback on how you felt the session went and anything else you'd need to know. So thanks so much for everyone for joining us today. And just a quick note about other events and sessions that are coming up over the coming months. We'd really like to see you there. It's how you can get involved with our Make It Here campaign, register for our e-learning resources on tourismni.com, and please see any other events that be of interest this spring. And any specific Fleadh questions or queries, anything else you need to know, just pop it into the chat or email us again. So thanks again for joining us, and hope to see you all again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.